Welcome, IT changemakers, to the DEX Show with Tim Flower and Tom McGraw. Let's get into it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the DEX show within a show within a show, which is those very special editions of Reality Bytes, where we, the Reality Bytes team, get to interview and converse with some of our select, favorite, most fascinating colleagues and fellow Nexthinkers. We've got a fantastic one for you today, and we'll get to her momentarily. But first of all, let me welcome back from his holidays, Tim Flower, and not only welcome him back from his holidays, but also wish him a very happy birthday for yesterday. Was it him? Was that the birthday?
That was it, Tom. Another year in the books, and it was nice to have a couple of weeks off to rest and recharge.
Get up to anything special?
Yeah, I spent 2 weeks in a motorcycle seat.
Whoa, super cool. That's really cool, man.
Yeah, good trip.
What was the furthest destination you got to on your bike?
So we did. This is an annual thing that we do. It's about 4,500 miles out to one of the western states, out to South Dakota, a little town called Sturgis, where about 500,000 motorcycles gather every year, and we go out. It's kind of an annual mecca for us. It's a great trip to get out and hang out with the guys.
Oh, 500,000. On the same day, or like across the course?
It's about 10 days, and it basically takes over the western half of South Dakota into Wyoming and Montana. It's a great rally.
And this is with your old Hells Angels chapter, is it, Tim?
Yeah, all the Hells Angels. It's kind of the initiation thing.
Very cool, very cool. That's great. Right, well, let's welcome our guest today. Let me just bring up where I've written it down. Let me welcome our guest today. Her name is Gorica Tapandjieva. Gorica. I know I butchered your surname, but you already told me you would be very forgiving of this. But thank you for coming on the show. Lovely to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. And it's really a pleasure and an honor being in this show. Looking forward to the things that we're going to discuss about.
Superb. The honor is absolutely all ours. And I should also add, we're also joined, as well as by Tim and yourself, by Dina and Sean, all of whom have fantastic questions for you. But the best, most obvious place to always start on these special editions of the show, Gorica, is to hear something about yourself, something about your vocation, your role, and your career path. So please introduce yourself in that sense for us.
Okay, so currently at Nextthink, I'm working as a senior product manager, managing 2 products, specifically Investigations, Visual Editor, and the Search, and all the other bits and pieces that are around that. And by training, I'm actually an engineer. I graduated computer science. I did my bachelor in computer science. Originally, I'm from Macedonia. So after graduating, I worked as a software developer for around a year and a half before relocating to Switzerland. And I'm in Lausanne office at Nexthink. I relocated to Switzerland to continue my studies. So I have a master's still in computer science. I did a lot of coding back in the days. And during that period, I also had an opportunity to continue with a PhD. So I have a PhD in computer science, but the PhD was more addressing requirements engineering, service management, hence also Nexthink and what we're doing, and systems thinking. So the first part of my life, let's say, and career, I was really focusing on building those hard skills, right, like coding and programming, a lot of maths and those kind of things. And during the thesis, realizing and working around service management, I got to appreciate the human side of things, right, and really understanding that in every area, actually not only in professional, but in general in life, we have people have different perspectives on things, so it's not really all black and white. There are some things in between, and I really wanted to work around that. Right, I really wanted to work a lot with people, as I said, gather the requirements and really surface up all these different perspectives. And I feel that the product management role is really especially in a tech company like Nextthink, because I really like to nurture, my techie skills and all the engineering skills, but it gives like a really nice balance between those technical part and really working with people and really eliciting all these different perspectives and of course the requirements that come with that.
No special skills or qualifications then, in short, Gorica. Just just a person off the street who's walked into. I'm kidding, Gorica. You may be our most distinguished guest. That's absolutely some amazing qualifications there. No, for sure, for sure. That's amazing. And did you like move to Lausanne to study and then find Nexthink? Did you move to? Yeah, that was. So is it the what's the name of the institution in Lausanne? Is it the same that our CEO Pedro basically studied at?
Exactly.
Right.
So it's École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne.
Yeah.
For the pronunciation in French, but yeah, it's the Federal Institute of Technology of Lausanne. And yeah, that's where Nexthink started. And the professor where also Pedro did his master thesis that then created, let's say, Nexthink. I also got to have a course with him. And it's a very nice environment. Initially, of course, I came here to study without really, I was much younger then, without really a clear plan, let's say, or career path, let's say. But when graduating, both from my master's and then from the thesis, it's such a nice place, the campus, because we have a pretty good startup scene, even if it's a small place. But we have this innovation park, of course, where Nexthink started, but there are also plenty of other companies there and plenty of other opportunities and different businesses. You get to really learn a lot about how different companies start. So it's really a nice place to be.
It's a similar path, right? Because Pedro obviously came to Lausanne to study under the same person, as you just said, but he also came from another country entirely. So and Pedro, when we first had him on the show, he told us this wonderful story about the first computer he ever built and acquired. I think he was 8 or 9, and he asked for 3 Magic Kings, who is the Spanish equivalent to Santa Claus. I don't know how they work this out between them, between on the one hand Santa and on the one hand the 3 Magic Kings. They must have a territorial deal, but he asked for the parts to make his first computer. And I'm just interested, before we move on to talking about Nexthink and your role today, what was your earliest experience with technology, or your earliest realization that you had this passion back home in Macedonia, this talent, no doubt, for tech?
Well, I remember owning this for the first time. We had a computer back in, it was Windows 95 or 98 that I installed back in the days. But I think I realized, and I really got to really the coding part of it. I remember in high school, we had, even I think in primary school, we had this diskette, but not the small one, the 3.5, it was really the big one. We were playing some, small games or things like that. But I think really the passion came from learning, and the first time that I got to learn a programming language, and it was Pascal that we learned back in high school. And the funny thing is that I was also doing some coding competitions and different algorithms back even in high school and on the national competitions and etc. So I was so passionate about that. And I will tell you a funny story that even in the yearbook that we have when we graduate high school, what my friends wrote for me, it was something saying along the lines that if Pascal, Turbo Pascal, like the programming language, was a person, that Gorica would marry him. So it was like that.
Amazing. You kind of have.
Yes.
You kind of have.
Well, now I think NQL is my thing.
Okay. Oh, you've moved on. Yeah. He was the high school,
yeah, of course.
the high school sweetheart.
Exactly.
Basically.
Now I have another love.
Sure. Excellent.
So, Gorica, I love these kind of conversations with Nexthinkers because it gives me some insight into what some of my coworkers are doing. But I know our listeners, it's interesting for them as well to kind of see the behind the scenes of a software company. So what are you and your team focused on right now primarily? What does the average day look like for you and the team?
Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, at the moment, so I'm leading the investigations product. And within the investigations, it's a kind of the interface where we query our NQL query language, or we query our database. And there are a lot of aspects for investigations. It's both the visual editor, the visual way to query data, and our thinking also into bringing different visualizations within that product. It's also the way you navigate between the data. So the drill downs, the feature when you already surface up some of this data, but if you want to really go beyond and you want to drill down, if you want to pivot to different tables, you can do this within the same product. And the second product that I manage is the search. Search is a central place. It's really what I want to call it. It's a unified search, which is so powerful that it actually retrieves the data that we store. It also suggests some investigations, how you can really drill down further to what the data that surfaced up. But at the same time, it also retrieves some of the custom content that customers create, for example, like remote actions, the campaigns, and some of the saved investigations. So it's kind of the central place if you want to find something in the product. The search is your place where you want to go.
Great.
And yeah, if you want to know about my daily work, how it looks like, well, that's really the work that I do that focuses on these two teams, but I'm also involved in other more, let's say I would call them horizontal initiatives that deal with multiple teams, mostly around ensuring that consistency is there in place in the product and that the usability is on the level that we want to be. So I collaborate a lot with the user experience team, particularly Pat, our co-founder. And yes, on a day-to-day basis, it depends. I mean, it requires a lot of analysis that I'm doing also for the existing product and writing a lot of specification, presenting that, iterating, doing different iterations, both with the development team and other product managers and user experience. I try to have at least a couple of calls during the week with customers because that's how we learn, going back to the different perspectives. It's not really about living in a bubble. So everybody that has some input from the field, and I think also Dina knows that I really want to be out there. I try to get the feedback both from our people in the field and directly from customers and our direct users. So yeah, it's a multitude of things, and it's quite fun. I have to.
Yeah, you've got a lot going on, and it's all really important work. Because I've over my and as Tom mentioned, I have one more year in the books now. So over my many years in IT, I've worked with a lot of IT tools that were not easy to use, that were not intuitive, and we also hear fairly often that other DEX tools in this space are cumbersome to use. So that area of user experience, the UX that you're working on, is really important for the company and for our customers. But what challenges does it present for you and the team across such a broad and varied platform? What's the secret to getting it right?
Well, I'm not sure that there is, right secret. We're really guided by the principles that, as you say, no matter how, and I personally believe that no matter how complex maybe people think that the space is, it's really not a complex tool. And what we're trying to do is that really our guiding principle is really to make people not think. Yeah, you see it, and all the information that you need to really have it in context, to have it described in a way that it's easy to understand and easy to use, and most of all actionable. So that's why what currently I was working on, and what I recently presented, what we delivered in the product, is really a consistent way to describe the data that we have, because there's plenty of data that we pull and plenty of metrics. And there's no secret there. It's not a one-off thing that you do and you finish it and it's done. It's really it's this iterative approach that we take, not only with the user experience, but in general in the product. So the idea is to start small. Of course, always have the vision of where you want to go, how that future looks like, and then really break it down and see if it's really feasible to get there. And the only way to know if it's feasible, the only way to know if it works, is really to start small and then build upon. Of course, there are examples, maybe we don't get it right the first time, but starting small, then there's even less, what I would say, throwaway work that goes to waste. So I think that's the way we approach things.
That's great. And like I said, it's really important for our customers to be able to use a product in an intuitive way, and that it should be simple, just because there's so much data. A part of that simplicity is giving the user of our platform, the IT teams, the data that they need. And it often starts with search. You mentioned you're working on search. It's more than just typing in a couple of keywords into a text box, right? Talk a little bit more about what search actually entails specifically. Maybe start with that brief description of search for anyone listening who's not already using Nexthink, and expand a bit on how that works in a product.
Well, at the moment, it's really real time. As you type, you will get if there is some information that you can retrieve based on the keywords, we do so, and that's what we surface up in the product. But the next thing that I think is going to, let's say, disrupt what search is all about, and it's still not there within search, but it's there in parts of the other product. Still in my product investigation, there is an integration in investigations. It's Nexthink Assist.
Right.
So everything that comes with AI, with all this even generative AI, and how you can generate different queries, or you can generate different content. Let's say the idea is that we are bringing that in the product. So at the moment, yes, search is still keyword based, but we are thinking and we are considering how all this AI efforts that we're having is going to impact search. And it's not only search, actually, it's every single product that we have and at Nexthink.
Great.
Hey, Gorica, I had a couple of questions for you. So we're in August right now of this year, and we've already introduced a lot of new products. I know we have a couple more coming up this fall. What's the impact of that type of innovation been like on the work done by you and your team? Is there a lot of adaptation involved?
Well, it depends. So here for this question, where do you want me to focus more on? Is it because the innovation that across the teams, the different teams that they are doing, I think they're enabled by some of the work that I have done before in context of the design system, because with the design system, we ensure consistency and usability across the board, and we help other teams innovate faster. And when it comes to my personal products, the way when it comes to investigations and search, so for search we already covered it, but for investigation, what we're bringing new and what I'm really excited about for the future, and hopefully by the end of 2023, is bringing more, expanding the usability of the investigation with bringing more visualization. So not only retrieving tabular data, but to really embed the visualizations directly in investigation.
So I guess, like, out of all the projects you're working on, is there a single one or a few where you get the most satisfaction from?
Wow. So it depends. I think that a lot of the things that I work, I get satisfaction from. So first thing, as I mentioned, because I'm really a great proponent of the whole UX consistency, usability. So really seeing that my work has an impact globally on the overall product and all the different parts of the product. It really brings me joy, a lot of joy. And also when I presented that in the last release update, it was I felt so fulfilled. But at the same time, as I mentioned, that I still have that techie part, engineering part in me. So I really love working with NQL. And working with NQL, of course, investigation is all about, and it's all built on top of NQL, like the full product, but also the drill downs and all the different transformation, all the different specification and logic that I'm helping build in the product. It also nurtures my, satisfies my inner need for working more on code and looking at code, and so these two areas, I think, that bring me a lot of joy.
Excellent. And you might find the next answer to this next question is the same as the last answer you had, but I'm curious, what's been the biggest challenge as well at your time at Nexthink thus far, like the most brain-stretching project you've had to work on?
Well, as I said, I really love NQL, and one of the reasons, so before focusing purely on investigation and on the visual editor and the visual way to query our data, I used to be the product manager for the language itself. And I also helped really define all these constructs and I was working with them within the data platform team. So yeah, I think that I spent a lot of brain cells, right? Really thinking about that and defining that and iterating with a lot of people. And it was really a sensitive time in terms of that. I started being the PM while the language was in technical preview. And then all the way now we are general availability. So all that pressure to have a very stable language without foreseeing breaking change in the future. So really what you really need, it needs to be a highly performant, highly scalable, and in terms of usability, because all these usability practices, for me, we really wanted to apply it in the language itself. So even if we're building a lot of things on top of that to hide NQL, I really believe that the language itself is quite usable and user-friendly. So yeah, those things, everything around NQL and all the drill downs, and yeah, it's usable for our users and customers, but we put a lot of brain power in that to make that happen.
Gorica, thank you so much. That's going to be the first thing I would say because of what you just mentioned. So being here for quite a bit, it's been challenging and I love where we're going. So thank you and the whole team for all the extensive efforts that you do to take us forward into the future. How would you describe the character of Nexthink as an employee, and what's the professional character that looks like? And also, what do you enjoy the most about working here from an employee perspective?
Mm-hmm. Well, Nexthink, it's really, I experienced it myself, and that's also the feedback that I'm getting from other colleagues, is that every single person that I get to interact with, I mean, we're all super friendly, super helpful. And one thing that I enjoy the most is that maybe it's not that much on a professional side, but more or less on a personal side, is that it never feels lonely, right? So whenever there is a huge challenge, whenever, for example, you start with a project and maybe there are some challenges, you feel stuck, it never lasts long because there's always at least one person that you can talk to, you can raise that challenge that you have, and there's always somebody who will help you and to really ease the work and help move forward. So in that regard, one thing that I really enjoy at Nexthink is that it never feels lonely, and it's such an enjoyable place to work and to collaborate with. And it's really exceptional people that we have, both ranging from product managers, from engineers, and there are some really exceptional people in the company that it feels, I would say, every single day I feel intellectually stimulated, and that's a very good place to be, and that it's really a joy. And another thing that I would say, I really also like the in-person contact, and a lot of my collaborators are in Lausanne, so that's why I really enjoy going to the office, and also the office management does such a good job really to make us feel so welcome and comfortable. So yeah, when you're at Lausanne, I think that the place where you find me, it will be the office during working hours.
Couldn't agree more. It's one of the most amazing things to find collaboration easy. And I think this is one of our key strengths, where we get over challenges together, take them one after the other, and then we excel. So what's exciting to you about the rest of 2023?
Well, as I said, we still have plenty of big projects that are ongoing, that are cooking. And I already mentioned some of them, one of them, which is bringing some visualization, particular visualization, and investigations. And at the same time, the efforts I really would love to see come to life, the work that we're doing now in terms of actionability of the data that people see across the product. So that's kind of a global thing that I'm working on. So yeah, that's what excites me, and in terms of the professional thing at Nexthinking.
We're looking forward to it. So the last question. Having this amazing career that you have so far, what would be your main advice for someone at the very early stages of their career if they want to be successful?
Well, I find it quite difficult, to give advice. Yeah, just for that, and I don't think that I've done that much to, to give such advices. But one thing that I always try to have, and one advice and one quality that I want to continue nurturing, and I think that it's a quality that everybody needs to have, it's to keep being curious, right? So nurturing that curiosity and never losing it. And it's something that I came to realize recently, to kind of understand it. Oh, maybe that's the thing that made me who I am now and helped me come where I'm at now. And it's something that I observe at my almost 4-year-old daughter. And especially kids have such, how do they grow? How do they really grow into adults? And it's really that they have this childlike curiosity. And I've observed that people that I admire, that also they have the same thing. So what I would say is that whatever you want to do, it doesn't mean that it has to be professional, or maybe it's a hobby. It can be whatever. I would advise to never lose that and to nurture that childlike curiosity that helps you dig in the details and really understand and learn more and be really passionate about that.
Sage advice, Gorica, and really absolute pleasure. Advice for all of us. To some of us, our inner child is flagging some points of the panel, not mentioning any names. Certainly not the birthday boy from yesterday, whose inner child is alive and well.
I have plenty of inner child.
But no, look, I know you were nervous before joining us today, Gorica, and you're absolutely one of the best guests we've had this year. It was beautiful to hear. Your expertise and passion really shines through, and it was a real pleasure to have you on the show. So thank you so very, very much.
Thanks so much for inviting me. It's really not only a pleasure, as I mentioned, it's really an honor being here with you. And yeah, looking forward to what we are all going to do and achieve, not only 2023, but also in the future.
Yeah.
Let's go. Thanks, Gorica.
Thanks, Gorica.
To make sure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast player. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a rating of the show. Just tap the number of stars you think the podcast deserves. If you'd like to learn more about how Nexthink can help you improve your digital employee experience, head over to nexthink.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.